Crazy controversial topic, but best thing I ever did for my children was divorce their father. I know that sounds crazy, but I was married to a pilot. We were married for 14 years together, total way too long. Anyways, literally, sounds absolutely crazy. Diabolical. Like, how does this shit make sense? My ex, so he did not love me. I was a convenience to his life, and he used me to build his career. Okay, I was 1000% used. I've gotten past that through therapy. Like, I just laugh about it now. The moment though, so this is how you know what's unconditional love and conditional love. I was conditionally loved. As long as I made his life convenient, it made sense to keep me around. So when I removed myself from his life and he had to make a change in order to see his children, I begged and begged and begged and begged and begged for years for him to come home. You know, he flew for the Air Force, which he still does. He's a lieutenant colonel, and he flies for FedEx. And he right now is on like a 5-year leave from FedEx. And so it's December. So normally he'd be flying like crazy right now. But last year I divorced him. And the best thing I did for my kids was divorce him because he's been home for a whole year now. See, this is where it's conditional based versus unconditional. He loves his children unconditionally because he was willing to finally change his job and come home and be a part of their lives. He only loved me conditionally because when I begged, I was not worth coming home to, which is fine. Because now, like my kid has the flu and he's been with me all week. We do week on, week off. And he still wanted to pick up our son. So he got him from my house after he picked our oldest up from son. And by the way, my oldest now lives with him full time. Love that. He's 13. And by the way, because I raise these kids by myself. So this is like a break. This is the most help I have ever gotten with my kids because I've never lived near family. I still don't. Like, because we were military. Well, he was military and I was married to him for 14 years. So I moved around everywhere to be with him. And now I'm in a place I don't want to be. And I'm stuck here for a few more years. Like, he not only did he come and pick Weston up the normal time to finish taking care of him with the flu, he is able to take off work tomorrow. That motherfucker ain't never taken off work. Anyways, that's how you know if you're conditional love or unconditional love. So I'm thankful that he loves his children. He ain't gotta love me because I don't love him. But isn't that crazy? I waited 16 years for that asshole to come home. Don't waste your time, ladies. So kudos to me though, because now I was able to clean my house and I've got a full week and prayers I don't get the flu. I probably am. I 1000% am going to get the flu. I'm probably going to go down in the next 24 to 48 hours. So that sucks. But I'll be by myself and I won't get anybody else sick, which is nice. Life is crazy. Life is crazy.
I hate to remind you, but it's not normal to be sad every week because of your relationship. To be crying every week or arguing with this person to the point that you guys are not even talking constantly. It's not normal for someone who loves you to keep hurting you and keep making you feel unseen, misunderstood, hurt, crazy, vulnerable. It's not normal.
Women used to have to choose men based on financial and economic reasons, right? And now that women are able to work and earn their own money and own their own property and get their own credit since the 1970s, they don't have to choose a man solely based on financial or economic reasons. They can choose a man based on how much they like them, their personality, whether or not they're funny, the kind of partner they are. And this is why I think we have this male loneliness epidemic, because men have been raised with the assumption that if they are a provider, they will get a woman. If they are able to earn money and they're somewhat attractive, they deserve a wife, someone who wants to bear them children. And so they haven't done any other personal work on themselves at all. They're like, what more what do you bring to the table? I'm sorry, what do you bring to the table? Do you bring a sense of humor? Do you bring emotional intelligence? Do you bring the ability to take care of your own space and be an equal partner and carry the mental load and do chores in your own house and keep track of all the things you need to keep track of in a home to keep the house running? Are you prepared to be a father, not just father children? Are you self-aware? Have you been to therapy and unpacked all of your emotional baggage from your childhood or things that happened to you previously and your attachment styles, etc.? Have you done any personal work on yourself at all? Because women are.
If you're a stay-at-home mom and you have to ask your spouse to send you money for something, I'm worried for you, because that sounds like financial abuse to me. If you're a stay-at-home mom, please always have a backup plan. Have your own account, have your own money, keep yourself safe just in case. They might be the only one with an income, but they shouldn't be the only one with money. You should be able to fill up your tank whenever you need to. You should be able to take your kids out and get a treat. Get some lunch if you ever need to. If you're on a budget, that's a whole different thing, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't have access to money. You shouldn't be going without money just because you're not the one who makes it. You're in a partnership. You're married. You're partners. Partners equals.
My husband and I have been married almost 8 years, and we're starting to see a pattern in a lot of our peers who've been married 7+ years, in that the woman seems to be outgrowing the man. And what do I mean by that? I mean, a lot of women are doing a lot of personal work. They're going to therapy. They're unpacking and healing from a lot of baggage or trauma from their childhood or past relationships. They're becoming more self-aware. They're understanding their attachment styles and their communication patterns and why they are the way that they are, and growing and changing and evolving. And the men just aren't doing that work. They are growing financially or in their career because that's what they've been trained and conditioned to do, to provide. But they're not doing anything else. They're not going to therapy by themselves. And if they're going to couples therapy, she dragged his butt there. She found the therapist. She made the appointment. She reminded him a million times it was happening, and he just goes to appease her, not to actually be vulnerable and work on stuff, but just to try to like make her happy so that she'll chill out. And it is so sad to see, because you can literally see it happening. You can see her growing and changing as a person, and he's totally fine being the way that he is. He's totally fine not peeling back those layers and working through that emotional, vulnerable stuff, right? He's like, he doesn't want to do that, and he's totally fine not doing it. But as she grows and changes, she has a desire to connect on a deeper level with her partner. She craves that, but you can't if they haven't done the work as well. And so there's this disconnect, and that causes problems in the relationship. And she essentially at some point realizes she has 3 choices if her partner is not going to change, is not going to do the work. She can either settle and be content and realize that he's never going to change, he's never going to grow, he's never going to do any personal work on himself, or become self-aware in any of those ways. Like, he'll grow in his career, he'll grow financially, but as a person in every other way, like, that's not happening. Okay, so she can find a way to be content with that and not have resentment, or she can try to force him to change for the rest of their lives. She can try to pull him along the growth journey and force and prod and get him and try to convince him to do it, which obviously causes a lot of problems. Or she can leave, and she can try to find someone who is on her level, try to find someone who is willing to do the work, who is more her equal. And it is just sad to see from an outside perspective how common this is. And then it just makes you realize how, unfortunately, how rare it is to find a man who is willing to unpack things and do the inner work and work on themselves and figure out why they are the way that they are, and whether or not they want to stay that way, or if they want to improve their communication patterns or their habits or their attachment styles or the way that they handle conflict. If they are going to, if they like, it's pretty rare to find a man who is willing to be vulnerable and emotional and communicate that and learn and grow with their partner with those more sensitive interpersonal things. And it's just unfortunate. And I think it probably contributes to the male loneliness epidemic, that's happening, because women are like, I want a partner who will grow with me through every stage of life. I want a partner who's willing to evolve and to change. And unfortunately, it seems like a lot of men aren't.
Why I don't recommend being a stay-at-home mom. Lawyer perspective. If you are a stay-at-home mom, you are 100% reliant on the financial contribution of your spouse. You use the money they earn to pay for everything. Your personal expenditures, the household expenditures, your kids' expenditures. You may not have a separate bank account. If your spouse decides one day he or she wants to cut you off, and I mean cold turkey, they can change bank accounts. They can stop depositing their check into an account. They can open their own and refuse to put you on it. If they do not want you to have a credit card, if you have a joint credit card right now and they cut you off, what are you going to use? You need to have some form of security. And without having financial security to stand on your own 2 feet, you will not be able to survive. And especially here in New York, the laws in the beginning of a divorce case do not protect stay-at-home moms. Because to get a lawyer, for example, you have to have money up front. So yeah, everyone will say to you, go get a lawyer. They can't do that. You're right. In some respect, your spouse can't do that. But that's only if you're in a divorce case. What happens if your spouse doesn't want you to go through a divorce, but just wants to basically financially abuse you? If you're not going through a divorce case, your spouse absolutely can do that because they have nobody telling them no. They have nobody telling them what they should or should not do. If they go to court, the judge can tell you what you can and cannot do. But that again, how do you get to court if you have no money? How do you get an attorney if you have no money? Stay-at-home moms need to heed this warning. Make sure you have a separate bank account with your own name on it that your spouse cannot touch. Do not let them be able to touch it. Because if God forbid they financially cut you off, you're going to need something to rely on. So start, if you haven't already, putting money aside for your rainy day fund.
Day after day on this app, I see women talking about how their husband is leaving them, that they became a stay-at-home mom, and now they don't have any money because he has chose to leave. And I feel like we must have lost some kind of knowledge that our women before us passed on, because my mother instilled in me, you always have to have your own money. Men cutting off or limiting money, financial resources to the family is financial abuse. I grew up with my mother I was a child asking me to beg my father to put his checks in the bank during the period where she was a stay-at-home mom, because he would pull that kind of shit. I remember crawling on my stomach to get into his wallet to pull out money when he was drunk, so we would have money for our school fucking lunches. So I will never forget.
Some of these men will drain your life force. They'll have schmecks with you. They are super selfish. They ride around looking for the next shiny thing and destroy women, cause a bunch of broken homes, cause a bunch of other broken kids. And if you don't have a strong enough woman who's self-aware and want to heal and resilient and have a safe community around her, that generational trauma continue to perpetrate. And this is why there's so much problem in our societies. Because of men doing shit like that, pulling shit like this. This is why. This is why there's so much suffering. Because a lot of men lack emotional intelligence, impulse control, conflict resolution skills, being able to manage themselves outside of emotions of anger. They don't know how it feels or know how it feels like having anxiety, depression, fear. But most of them would numb it with maybe overworking, running away, going hanging out with the boys, gambling, playing video games, drinking too much, and then sometimes they drink and changes their personality. Did you see that video recently where that guy was watching an NFL game leading up to Christmas and his wife only asked him to change the channel? I mean, I don't really know, I wasn't in that house, but this is what was going on. This man will put you in positions where it destroys you, and it can destroy your children, your life, and take you out of this world. Ladies, a lot of these men have no emotional ability to control themselves emotionally. They just resort to anger, punishment. He took his pew and unalived her and wanted to unalive the stepdaughter. This is why I talk to a lot of single women. Be careful after you break up a separation, who you go be with and rushing to be with them, have another baby or form another family just for the sake of having a family, when that man is peppering you to the point of unaliving you like this. Did you see the case of that really wealthy farmer who went and unalived his wife because he was going through a divorce and was giving her this minuscule amount of money after they have toiled together for, what is it, over 20 years? You're giving her this minuscule amount of money post divorce, and she's like, I can't afford everything. The lifestyle that I'm used to, you just literally pulled it out of underneath me. And a lot of this men, he's like this dark, empty vote here. And another time it's from childhood. But you here to try to fix a whole man, a man child, a broken man. You don't. When you see the signs, leave. And it's the point of leaving is when the most abuse starts to happen. You have to protect yourself. Live quietly and silently. And this farmer, wealthy farmer, I remember what state he was when, and unalived her. And I think it was because of the location or whatever it was. That's the only reason why he was apprehended. But there's so many women who are being unalived slowly, psychological unaliving. He's your knife and your band-aid at the same time. These men are diabolical. Especially when it comes to money. Many of them are so selfish. Especially when they notice that you're trying to separate from them or divorce their assets because they are so selfish. They'll find everything in the books to punish you. You have to clock it. Preserve your energy. If you're in a relationship, center yourself. You are the sun, the moon, the stars, everything. You are you. Let him say you're selfish. Let him say you're this. Let him say you're a gold digger. Take it and build yourself. Build your future and build the future for your children. Because I love this man. And raise your sons right. If you have a son, raise your sons from a hard place. Teach them. I know it's hard. It's not easy. But teach your sons. They don't become codependent on you. Two, as a mother of a son, so that wounding doesn't happen, and you can constantly do teaching and repairing, and modeling to that son emotions beyond anger, even as a mother. Go to therapy, take them to therapy, go to therapy together, especially if you're a mother who's gone through a separation, a divorce, or the home environment seems very chaotic. You're with a partner who's controlling, who's chaotic, who's toxic, who's high conflict. You better take your ass to therapy. You better give those children language to what's going on. Don't sweep it under the rug and thinking they don't know. Yes, they do. They might even know more than you do. Okay?
My husband and I have been together since 2000. We don't even have a joint bank account. We don't have a joint bank account.
Don't call him
because that's what I learned. My mother said you always have to have
your own.
Something of your own to fall.
Have something on your own. Cause this man, when push comes to shove, they don't care. They will leave you hanging like a mother sucker. So clock it. Okay? Constantly, yes, goes one comment. If that's all your relationship consists of, then yes, it's unhealthy. But relationships go through phases, and everyone finds themselves in arguing phase one point or another. That's just human psychology. If you can't overcome this phase, your relationship wouldn't work. And that is so true. This is why marriage needs to be a renewal thing, like yearly. I couldn't agree more. I even say every quarter, check with your partner. Go check your STDs level, STIs. Make sure you're checking those. Besides all of your other appointment, your OBGYN, your physical appointment, make sure, because a lot of these married men are using you and they're using other women at the same time. They have a lot of side chicks. If you think I'm lying, come to my DMs, come to my dating apps and see. I'm just saying. And don't be desperate for marriage. I wasn't in it for 14 years. I'm not dissing my ex, but it made me learn so much about men, and it made me grow to where I am today. And thank God that while I was in it, this is why one of the reasons that caused the demise of marriage, because I was not the kind of woman that was going to allow myself to be controlled. No, my education, my future, my goals matter. If you're with a partner who wants to dim your light, doesn't want you to go back to school, resents you for wanting education, for wanting to make your own money and all that stuff, and is constantly peppering you, might be time for you to start to plan your exit stage left. Okay, like yearly, pay like $5 to pay to stay married, or bum, it's dissolved. No legal song or dance. Both parties are free to go. Together for 9 years and married for almost 7. We are about to both turn 30, have grown and changed, and he's the same. A lot of men don't change and they'll never change. You have 2 kids, almost 3, and a 7-month-old. And I got a degree and a career. Good for you. And I have to be forced to be a stay-at-home mom. He still wants to play video games and sit at home and spend time with his friends while I'm forced to stay home. While I'm forced to stay home with the kids and care for them. I told him if it doesn't change, I'm leaving. I've got a 3 months to plan and leave. Yep. Plan, quietly and safely leave. Find a therapist, find an accountant, find a lawyer. Protect yourself, protect your children. Love you. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section.